a schöner, a gitter, a breiter Schulem Aleichem, a Fachbane Schulem Aleichem, Aleichem wie all bin ich. Ich kiek schon ein Fach langer aus. So hat sich ungekläuben bei mir ein hübsch bisschen scheuere Verrach, und ich frag mich halt noch ein Eck. Wo seht man auch nicht? Sucht mir, als ich fuhrt darin dort über der Welt, in die warte Länder geht's. Wie wir suchen in der Megille, Shebe Yesrim, in Medina. No mir dacht sich, als ihr kiekt auf mir etwas Mod. Apune mir quenkelt sich und tracht sich bei Ismanse, sie ist sie nicht sie sehr, Pani Schulem Aleichem, sie sehr. Euer alter Freund, Tevye, Bichwoide Viatzmann, Tevye der Milchike, der eigener Tevye, Norois Milchike, Glott Aid von a ganz Jür, Aid a suchen, wie ihr seht, Chod schaffele in Juren noch nicht so alt, wie wir suchen in der Agude Areanike, wenn Schieden noch ganz warze sie bezig.
The sound of Yiddish is, if it doesn't bring a smile and a tear to your face, you probably shouldn't be learning Yiddish. Yiddish sounds are just unique. They evoke something on the inside. They're beautiful, they are harsh, they are sensual, they're sarcastic, they're tender, and they are very cruel. If you are going to continue with Yiddish, you will eventually master its grammar, you will eventually master its vocabulary. However, the hard thing, the really challenging thing, is mastering the sound of Yiddish, and to sound in Yiddish not like a goy, but to sound like a Jew from Yiddish land. That is really something. That is really amazing. And that will always bring a smile to anybody's face, a smile and a tear at the same time. It is really a thing of beauty, and very, very rare these days. So what we're going to do is we will work through this chapter. I suggest you read it on your own, and then I'll go over it with you, over some of the more interesting, some of the more perhaps difficult, unusual parts. So at first, let's cover the easy part, the sounds B, D, and G. And the book says that they are identical in both languages, in Yiddish and in English. So I'm just going to read these words here in Yiddish, and you can hear the sounds P, T, and K, how they sound in Yiddish. Post, teller, ken. Post, teller, ken. They sound pretty much the same. I don't hear any difference, neither should you. We're now on page 20. The book says F, V, S, and Z are pronounced in Yiddish the same as English words far, very, seem, and gaze. I have one kind of kink observation about this part. The V sound, I think it's a little sharper in English than it is in Yiddish. In Yiddish, the word what for what is was, ja, was machst du, was herzig. The v sound is a little softer than the English v in very. Just compare very and was, very was. If you hear the difference, okay. If not, maybe it's not important. The book says that they're identical, so keep in mind the author is focused on standard Yiddish, and there are variations in dialects. And we're going to cover dialects hopefully in the next chapter. Now, as far as the words that end on t or st, the consonant that is preceding those endings, b, d, g, v, and z, it becomes, here it says unvoiced, it becomes dull. So lebt is pronounced as lept, so the b sound becomes p. Redst is redst, so that instead of a d, it's t. Red is red. Zogst, proefst, lost, haltst. So pay attention, it's quite important. So it is not pronounced the way it's written. English is also not pronounced the way it's written, but there are some rules in English how to pronounce words that are written one way and pronounced completely different. In Yiddish, there are exactly the same. The situation is very similar. There are rules. Perhaps rules in Yiddish as far as pronunciation are more consistent than in English. The ch sound. Now, the book says the ch sound is exactly like in German lachen. I don't know German, so I assume it's the same sound in German. The sound is ch. One note that I would like to make for those of you who do know German and who do know this word lachen, which I assume means to laugh in German, because that's what it means in Yiddish. In Yiddish, you do not pronounce the E. The E that you see here, you do not pronounce it. It's lachen. There is no E at the end. So those of you who know German and who think that it's the same word and who say lachen, well, you will sound German. You will not sound Yiddish, and that's not very cool. So let's take a look at the following word examples. Let's try this again. It's mach, mich, ich, gich, recht, chaver, gicher. So you have to be able to replicate that sound. You make it kind of with the back of your throat. Mach, gich, ich, gich, recht, chaver, gicher. Okay, I'm now at the bottom of the page, looking at the L sounds. There's only one L sound in English, and that's L. In Yiddish, there are two L sounds. One is the hard L, the same as in English. The other one is a soft L type sound. Those of you who know Russian, Ukrainian, and perhaps the same thing in Polish, there's a L and there's a L. You have it in Yiddish, you don't have it in English, so pay attention. Let's see what the book says. There are two L sounds in Yiddish, transcribed as L lowercase and L uppercase, respectively. For more common sound is indicated by lowercase l. Keep in mind he is talking about transliteration. There's nothing in the text, in the original Yiddish text, that will indicate how to pronounce it. The more common sound is dark and hard. In learning to produce it, one may pronounce U of food as one raises the tip of the tongue to touch the palate. Full, Bulke Moll, Land, Luft, Stiller. Okay, now I have a problem with some of the pronunciations here. Let's not get carried away too far, but perhaps this is the standard Yiddish, and in some of the dialects these L's are actually soft and not hard. Like full, it will become full, or depending on the dialect it's actually filled, and bulke will become bilke. So I realize this is confusing, but there's nothing I can do about this. We're going to cover dialects later, and dialects are very interesting. There's nothing in English that will that is remotely similar. Okay, let's keep going. And the other L is a light soft L, learning to produce it. And here we go: billig, Frühling, Liebe, Lied, Moll. The rule of thumb is that before the sound I or Y, we don't have those sounds in Yiddish. I guess the sound is E. You use the softer L. In other cases, you use the harder L. If you can memorize this, fine. If not, just try to remember that there are two L sounds, and just learn it on word-by-word basis how they're supposed to sound. In standard Yiddish, and we're going to talk about standard Yiddish and dialects and what the difference is, most of the L's are hard L's, which is similar to English. I'm not sure if it makes it good or correct, or if it makes it sound good. However, that seems to be the case, or at least from my observation, is that most L's in standard Yiddish is called Klalsprach. Most of the L's are hard L's.